Ever since 1971, when the first coin-operated arcade game took shape at Stanford University, the world started a revolution. A revolution filled with gamers and stereotypes that have gathered over the years. Some of these stereotypes like
antisocial, couch potatoes,
basement dweller,
or heftier in size, which I kind of fit that one myself.
Girls are turned off by them.
26-year-old living in his mom's basement in a Metallica shirt.
Lazy, doesn't shower for a couple days. Cheetos, Mountain Dew.
Video gamers have lived with these stereotypes, and some have accepted these over time. And over time, we have seen a gradual advancement of the video game. With the advancement of technology comes the advancement of video games technically and artistically.
They've definitely come a long way since, the Atari and Pong, where you just had, a couple pixels on a screen hitting a ball back and forth, to, games like Heavy Rain, where you look at it and you think that could actually be real people on the screen.
From what I remember when I was growing up, I had a Sega, and just the leaps we've been able to make from that to N64 to now to PS3 and 360 and everything. It's just amazing what we've done.
I'm more particular to games that have really good graphics. Anytime I play a game, that's the very first thing I look at is the graphics and how much talent it would take to make these things happen, to create such movement, such artistry,
The developers of games have actually done a very good job of actually, branching out, not trying to, designate a teenager here, little kid here. They're making games where, the whole family can get involved.
Basically because, the more people playing them, the more people can kind of understand. I think it kind of gets rid of some of those stereotypes that may have been somewhat more true. I'm not saying, all stereotypes are true, but there are definitely some that, kind of identify with certain people.
But along with the progression of video games history, many genres have formed. Role-playing games such as Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, first-person shooters like Halo, Call of Duty, and Fallout, sports genres like Madden, NBA 2K, and FIFA Soccer. These are just a few genres that have mass followings, and these genres carry stereotypes depending on what you play. Being called a nerd is one common term used to stereotype a person.
I'm kind of indifferent to the term. Nobody really calls you that to your face, because I guess everybody kind of thinks of it as an insult. I kind of make the distinction between a nerd and a geek. Being a geek, you really kind of own it. You know what I mean? Where being a nerd is something that you hide. Being a geek is you know what? I don't even care. I'm proud of it.
Others have no issue with it.
I fit that bill, I like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and video games, and so it's me. I really don't get offended.
Stereotypes are not normally taken too seriously, but some can be offensive to others. Many opinions about social problems involving video games and newer technology has evolved over the years.
It seems with the more technology progresses, it seems the more antisocial we become as a society. I think gaming and video games is the PlayStations and the Xboxes, things like that, kind of a microcosm of a larger issue that's going on. With moving games into the homes and having home gaming, and you're not going somewhere to play the game, you're not really around a group of people. You're not, even if it's just other people in that kind of video game community, you're not really having that human interaction anymore.
Though some people say that a lot of gamers are not as social as people outside of the gaming realm. Students at Eastern Illinois University are proving that even though they are gamers, they have plenty of social interaction. We talked with some of the members of the EIU Video Gamers Club to see what they thought about gamers, social issues, and how this club came to be.
Really, the reason why I started the club was because I thought that I don't really care about politics. I went to a politics thing. I'd rather organize video gamers, and I found many different kinds of people that I never thought I'd be friends with. People I wouldn't suspect were video gamers just by walking by them in the hallways.
Most gamers are just like everyone else. They just pretty much, in my opinion, play. And sometimes they just play for multiple hours because they really, I wouldn't say they're anti-social or anything, they just enjoy it a lot.
None of us are, well, some of us are super hardcore nerds, loners, kind of
play our games all by ourselves all the time, but then a lot of us go out, we play sports, a lot of us are just not really fitting into the main stereotypes.
I think that they largely existed, you know, in a previous time when video games weren't as mainstream as they are now. At least everyone my age has experience with video games in some way or some form, you know? I mean, I can't think of someone my age who doesn't know who Mario is. It's very hard to find that.
I personally don't believe probably nobody would just come up to me and ask me, oh, are you the vice president of the Gamers Association here? They probably wouldn't necessarily see me, I guess, from my everyday attire, so. I do believe that's a lot of stereotyping because normally, I mean, even in the tournament, people really didn't think I could play, but I'm in the finals round right now.
The tournament Anthony was competing in was a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament. You fight through the ranks to climb to the top to win the collective prize.
I think my controller's broken. I don't know, is this thing working?
Tom went against Anthony, but Anthony took the victory and claimed victory over the tournament.
Good game, good sir. I don't even know about that. I'm still not convinced my controller's working.
Along with gaming organizations like the EIU Video Gamers Club, there are people who interact socially with others through online gaming. MMORPGs, or mass multiplayer online role-playing games, have in recent years become widely popular. Many opinions on how MMORPGs affect someone socially have formed through the lifetime of these games.
I was at the U of I, and you know, I played a lot of World of Warcraft back then. I mean, it definitely affected my grades while I was there. So, I mean, it can definitely affect people's like real life relationships as well as, you know, work and school and things like that. But at the same time, it can also help relationships. Like, you know, a lot of people meet other people online in online gamings and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know.
I literally have a family members who got divorced because they were playing too much World of Warcraft. So I don't know, I think you got to be careful with stuff like that.
I think a lot of people have been just playing video games for social interaction through there, and a lot of people might not have a lot of friends outside of their just social gaming community, which I think it should be better just to have some social outside of games and social inside. Like there's people I'm friends with on there that are from like Maryland and just all around like Chicago and stuff like that, but I mean, I'll have social interaction outside of them because I'm not usually on there that often.
I know, like in other countries where those type of games are huge, like Japan, there's been a lot of cases where it's almost an addiction.
The point where it becomes a problem is when it takes over your life, when you're not going outside, hanging out with your friends, when it's interrupting your work schedule, when it's interrupting your schoolwork. That's when it becomes a problem.
Like people I know that play, actually, like they'll be like, oh, I gotta play at 5 o'clock. So I was like, you wanna go hang out? No, I gotta do some sort of raid or something. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't know yet. So I mean, I've lost some people like that. Some people come back from those games, but a lot of times it takes like a year or two for them to get back.
If there are like MMORPGs, they're socializing online in a different way. It's all how you want to like view as the type of socializing. Like if you want to talk about going out to parties and seeing people and hanging out, yeah, they might stereotypically not be as much into that. Of course, I had a roommate that was on the football team. He was super jock, but he also played World of Warcraft.
Some forms of gaming have different styles of social interactivity, but these are still forms of social interaction. Gaming has become more widely accepted by the populace.
I think there's a game out there for everybody. You know, you could be somebody who says, I hate video games, but then turn around and be playing Farmville all day on Facebook or something, you know?
Well, I think the average gamer is becoming just like everyone, regular street people.
Don't be ashamed to be a gaming nerd. A lot of people think that they're afraid if they like start saying they like all these games that they're just going to get grouped in with a bunch of bad people, but we're not bad.